This is KGW News at noon.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Brenda Braxton. We are hearing from Portland's newest police chief in his first solo press conference. Chief Chuck Lavelle talked to the media about 30 minutes ago, shortly after he was sworn in. Those are photos from the ceremony. He talked about the protests that we've seen in Portland and promised his department would be open to change. While the vast majority of demonstrators have been peaceful, we've seen more tension outside the Justice Center. Protesters broke a fence set up to keep police and protesters separated. Chief Lavelle was asked about that broken fence and what his officers will do if those protesters start coming through the barrier. Okay, we don't have that, but we will hopefully get back to it in a second. I can tell you that Chief Lavelle mentioned Seattle during his news conference today. Protesters have taken over a section of the Capitol Hill neighborhood. They're calling it the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or CHAZ. President Trump has threatened to take back the city if Seattle and state leaders don't step in. Now let's hear again from Chief Lavelle. Oh, so sorry about those technical problems. You know, sometimes live TV. Okay, the chief also is paying very close attention to what's happening at City Hall. And this afternoon, the Portland City Council will be voting on a final budget, and it could include major cuts to police. Hundreds of people still want to testify, and more than 700 signed up to speak at yesterday's virtual meeting. Most of them are demanding a change to police funding. Activists say they want $50 million of the Bureau's $244 million budget taken away and then reinvested in the community.
Police have a monopoly over the use of violence, but they should not have a monopoly on our imaginations.
The OCA has joined with numerous other organizations in a coalition effort to insist that funds derived from the Portland cannabis tax appropriately go to social programs and services that aid Black, Latinx, and Native American people in our community.
On Tuesday, Mayor Ted Wheeler said he plans to end the city's gun violence reduction team and school resource officers. He also wants to take $7 million from the police budget to invest in programs for communities of color. Wheeler was not part of yesterday's meeting. He's grieving the loss of his mother, who died on Tuesday. But he is expected to be there today when that meeting begins at 2 o'clock. New this noon, the nation's top military official is apologizing for participating in President Trump's controversial photo op in front of a Washington, D.C. church. Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Mark Milley accompanied the president after law enforcement used tear gas and rubber bullets to clear peaceful protesters from the area. The president then took a picture in front of the church while holding a Bible.
As many of you saw the result of the photograph of me at Lafayette Square last week, that sparked a national debate about the role of the military in civil society. I should not have been there. My presence in that moment and in that environment created a perception of the military involved in domestic politics. As a commissioned uniformed officer, it was a mistake that I have learned from, and I sincerely hope we all can learn from it.
General Milley apologized during a pre-recorded graduation address to the National Defense University. Well, in Washington County, a deputy is accused of attacking a man in the jail booking area. As KGW's Mike Benner reports, that deputy is only now facing charges 2 years after the assault.
Disturbing video from inside the Washington County Jail in Hillsborough. You'll notice a jail deputy go from one side of the room to another to attack a man getting booked for DUI.
I've been practicing law for a long time. I've seen a lot of videos. I've seen people die in videos. There was a viciousness to this which was unique.
Greg Kafori is the attorney representing the victim, 45-year-old Albert Molina, an American of Mexican descent. Kafori says what bothers him most is that Molina was doing nothing more than acting drunk and silly in the moments leading up to the March 2018 assault.
This is the kind of an injury that people die from all the time. Multiple skull fractures, bleeding on the brain. He survived, but he has rather profound symptoms of brain injury. memory problems, that sort of thing.
The video is awful, and there's we can't sugarcoat it.
Washington County Sheriff Pat Garrett identifies Ryan Alden as the deputy involved in the attack. The sheriff explains why Alden was not immediately prosecuted.
At the conclusion of that investigation, the district attorney's office believed there was not enough evidence to proceed at the time. We reviewed that case, and that review did not result in policy violations, and I recognize that does not add up.
Fast forward to May of this year. The sheriff's office received an email alleging that Alden engaged in racist behavior online many years ago.
I made arrangements to place him on administrative leave, and we started a personal investigation. And the district attorney's office saw that same communication, and that caused them to put their own process in motion. The
DA's office presented Molina's 2-year-old case to a grand jury, and last week, Alden was charged with first-degree official misconduct, a misdemeanor. Molina's attorney will tell you the charge doesn't come close to fitting the alleged crime that was caught on camera.
This is a Washington County case, but pretty much anywhere you look, it's the same thing. Police officers can get away with just about anything.
All right, Albert Molina did file a lawsuit against Washington County for hundreds of thousands of dollars. As for Ryan Alden's employment status with the sheriff's office, again, he's on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation into his online behavior as well as the court proceedings for the attack. I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
Amazon is suspending police use of its facial recognition technology for a year. The Washington County Sheriff's Office is the only police department listed as using the technology, and Amazon wouldn't say if there are other departments using it too. Studies have criticized this facial recognition software, saying it may hold racial bias by incorrectly identifying people with darker skin. Right now, there is no federal legislation that regulates it. The Washington County Sheriff's Department sent us this statement. It says, the facial recognition program was an innovation worth exploring, but until stronger regulations to govern the ethical use of the technology are in place, the Washington County Sheriff's Office will be suspending its use of this program indefinitely. Overnight, we learned about a shooting at an apartment complex in Northeast Portland where one person died. Officers say someone opened fire at the Glenover Estates on 162nd Avenue in the Glenfair neighborhood. This happened about 12:30 this morning. We haven't heard about any arrests yet or what led up to the shooting. We also have another shooting to report. This one happened last night on I-205 around 10 o'clock. Police say people in one car shot at people in another car multiple times while both were driving on the interstate near the exit from Mall 205. One person was hit and taken to the hospital. Now to our coverage of COVID-19 and restarting the local economy. Multnomah County is planning to gradually reopen beginning tomorrow, but it's not a done deal yet. The state still needs to approve it. Multnomah County is the only county in Oregon that's not in phase 1. That stage means restaurants and bars can reopen for dine-in service, and salons, barbershops, and gyms can reopen with social distancing in place. Well, Oregon is seeing a rise in COVID infections this week. Yesterday, the state health officials reported 72 new cases. Take a look at that graph. It shows the spike that we've seen recently. On Sunday, we saw the largest number of cases reported in a single day since the pandemic began. But it is important to note there have been just under 5,000 confirmed coronavirus cases in Oregon out of more than 150,000 people tested. That's about a 3% positive rate. The Oregon Department of Education is looking ahead to next school year. It's requiring individual districts to work with schools to determine whether they'll teach all students on site, through distance learning, or maybe some combination of those two. Districts have to approve what they're calling an operational blueprint for each and every school. That includes managing facilities, engaging families and communities, and making sure that learning is equal for all students.